While her husband underwent appendix surgery, the wife secretly arranged for the doctor to sterilize him, ensuring he could never get another woman pregnant. She did this because, for 10 years, she had silently endured her marriage and her husband's countless affairs, knowing betrayal would never happen only once, and would always happen again. Therefore, she chose to have her husband sterilized. Since she could not change him, she would protect the family fortune and ensure it belonged only to their son. Before leaving, she handed the doctor a confidentiality agreement and had him sign it, making sure the operation remained completely secret. 6 months later, several mistresses mocked the wife as weak, believing they could fight over her husband while she and her best friend listened nearby. Hearing this, the wife's best friend stormed over and slapped one of the mistresses, refusing to let them humiliate her any longer. Just as her friend moved to hit her again, the wife stopped her, saying they could say whatever they wanted. Her friend reminded her that she had built her husband's family fortune and warned his constant affairs could produce an illegitimate child threatening her son's inheritance. However, the wife calmly revealed that 6 months earlier, she had already made sure her husband could never produce another heir. She knew her son was the family's only heir. Since her husband's endless affairs would kill him, she would inherit control and never divorce him. Returning home, the wife heard her husband with a mistress in the living room, suggesting they have a child. She watched coldly, knowing it was impossible. Then she deliberately dropped her bag to make noise and casually urged her husband to hurry up and finish. Next, the wife recognized this latest mistress as the student whose education she had once personally funded. She remembered how the student had once vowed to live independently. After seeing photos of the husband's affairs, she had even angrily condemned him for betraying his wife. Instead of apologizing, the husband shielded the mistress and confidently claimed his wife no longer had any power over him. She remembered that he had once followed her every decision, and under her strict guidance, his small business had gradually grown into a powerful company. Later, after the company grew, the husband openly resisted her punishment. Only then did she realize the small businessman she supported had become an arrogant president. Moments later, the mistress approached the wife, admitting she once hated him. But one night together brought what years of effort never could, so she stopped trying. Flaunting her youth, she accused the wife of succeeding by carrying his child, claiming she could replace her and give the family another son. Unmoved, the wife photographed her and warned her to leave and stop bothering her unless she wanted private pictures posted online, sending the mistress fleeing. Later, her son urged her to divorce his father and promised he would always stand by her side. However, she calmly told him to focus on his studies and not let these family problems affect him. Moments later, the husband demanded that his wife surrender the acting president position to the inexperienced mistress, then remain as her assistant and guide her. Hearing this, she realized the mistress could steal her authority simply by sleeping with her husband, so she suppressed her anger and deliberately appeared weak. Crying, she recalled their past together. Her tears immediately made the husband withdraw his demand and tell her to forget everything he had just said. After he left, she realized he wanted her out of the company, so she decided to drive both of them from the family business. 3 days later, the husband claimed the mistress left him angrily after losing the acting president role, then pressured his wife to surrender it immediately. However, she calmly set one condition: his family had to approve the transfer. Hearing this, the husband excitedly contacted the board members at once. After her husband left, she cursed his stupidity, knowing the company would soon collapse without her, and someone else would punish his arrogance. A few hours later, every member of the husband's family gathered together after learning he planned to replace his wife. His father warned him that handing the company to an unknown woman would bring devastating consequences for the entire family. Then his mother reminded him that he had once been a reckless failure, and only his wife had pushed him into becoming a successful businessman. His father promised to stand by her. Still calm, she said that since her husband wanted her to step down, she would follow his wishes. However, the elders immediately refused, insisting only she could lead the company, and forbidding the mistress from taking control. The husband immediately accused his wife of joining the elders to bully the mistress, so the furious wife slapped him across the face. After the wife stormed out of the family meeting, her husband's furious mother berated her son for abandoning a 10-year marriage for a woman he barely knew. She recalled caring for her husband after a work dinner left his stomach bleeding, while he promised to risk his life so she could live comfortably. Meanwhile, the husband wondered how he had once loved her so deeply, yet allowed their marriage to become this broken. Then he hurried after her. After the husband caught up, his wife coldly told him her 15-year-old self would never believe her protector would cruelly insult her for a mistress. She lamented that time had turned her husband into a stranger. He panicked, claiming anxiety caused his cruel words, but she ignored him and left. As soon as the wife got into her car, the men sent by the mistress knocked her unconscious. Then the mistress ordered several men to prepare, planning to destroy the wife's reputation before the husband's family could stop her becoming acting president. After drugging the wife, the mistress smugly revealed that the substance would leave her unable to speak or exert any real strength, for 4 hours. She planned to film the helpless wife with several men, then release the video to disgrace her and question her son's legitimacy. However, the wife had anticipated everything. Since the mistress was so determined to destroy her, she had already prepared a trap for her. Moments later, the wife's parents-in-law suddenly blocked the mistress and her accomplices. Then the mother-in-law slapped the mistress and ordered the bodyguards to take her and all her accomplices away. After rescuing the wife, they brought the mistress before the husband's family, who allowed the wife to decide her punishment, even whether she should die. The mistress instinctively begged the wife for help, but the wife refused, saying she had brought this upon herself, then asked her husband's father to handle it legally. Then the husband's father ordered the bodyguards to take the mistress to the police, hire the best lawyer, and ensure she spent her life in prison. Just then, the husband arrived and placed himself between the mistress and his family, promising that nobody would hurt her. When the wife demanded whether he understood what the mistress had done, he apologized, then revealed that she was pregnant with his child. The husband insisted the baby was his, but the wife instantly realized the mistress conceived with another man, because her husband was completely infertile. Hearing the mistress was pregnant, the husband's parents immediately paused the punishment, deciding to discuss what should happen next. But the wife saw through their scheme. A boy would give the family a pawn to weaken her, while controlling the mistress to replace her position and power. Moments later, the husband's parents asked her to understand because the unborn child was innocent, then demanded she hand the pregnant mistress some authority to share her workload. The wife did not refuse. Instead, she calmly said she could hand the entire acting president position to the mistress, rather than giving her only part of it. The mistress was delighted. The wife then told her that since her husband liked her so much, she could take over every position and assume full responsibility. The husband apologized for hurting her, but she secretly mocked him for celebrating another man's child and preparing to raise it. Seeing the husband feeling guilty toward his wife, the mistress suddenly pretended that her stomach was hurting. After taking the mistress to the hospital, the husband saw his wife had arrived, and finally asked her for a divorce. He claimed the mistress only wanted security and a complete family for the baby, expecting the wife to understand because she was a mother. Then he proposed a fake divorce, promising the wife would keep her status and that they would remarry after the baby was born. The wife agreed to divorce him, but only if she received full custody of their son. After the husband agreed, they immediately completed the divorce, finally freeing her from the marriage she had endured for years. At that moment, the mistress thanked the former wife for mentoring her, then shamelessly invited her to be a bridesmaid at the wedding just 2 days away. The ex-wife reminded them that inviting her to her ex-husband's wedding with his mistress would draw ridicule. If they felt no shame, she did not care. Then her ex-husband also invited her, so she agreed, eager to watch them embarrass themselves before all the wedding guests. Later, she remembered that night, when her ex-husband's father learned he had surrendered custody of the family's only heir, and furiously beat his son. However, once her ex-husband confirmed the mistress was carrying a boy, his parents immediately stopped blaming him and excitedly celebrated having a new grandson. His father declared that another boy was coming, so the unborn child would become the family heir, while his son married the mistress and took all power from his ex-wife. But the former wife knew the baby could not belong to her sterilized husband, meaning her son remained the family's only true blood heir. Looking at their wedding invitation, she smiled coldly and prepared a wedding gift that would expose the fake heir and crush the entire family's final hope. At the ex-husband's wedding, his mother asked whether the mistress was carrying a boy. He confidently promised that even if not, they could keep having sons. Because custody of the family's only male heir belonged to the ex-wife, they warned that unless this baby was a boy, he would never become heir. The mistress hurriedly promised she could bear 5 sons, hoping to secure her position within the family. The guests wished the mistress 5 healthy sons, and amid their laughter and congratulations, the long-awaited wedding ceremony finally began. The ex-husband's father welcomed every guest to the wedding, and prepared to announce an important decision of his own. Just then, the ex-wife arrived and announced that she had a wedding gift for the newly married couple. The ex-husband's father immediately announced that his unborn grandson would become the family's new heir. Next, the ex-wife ordered her men to scatter her ex-husband's permanent sterilization reports through the air, allowing every wedding guest to see the evidence. Guests were stunned by the sterilization report, then noticed the surgery occurred 6 months earlier, while the mistress became pregnant only 2 months ago, proving another man fathered her baby. Panicking, the mistress called the evidence fake and accused the ex-wife of fabricating everything out of jealousy and a desire to reclaim her husband. Furious, the ex-husband's parents blamed her, accusing the ex-wife of forging evidence, slandering their bloodline, and trying to seize control of the family. Ignoring their accusations, the ex-wife said her ex-husband could undergo a full examination, while the mistress could have amniocentesis to extract DNA and reveal the child's real father. The ex-husband immediately accused her, warning the procedure could cause a miscarriage, and claiming the ex-wife would not even spare an innocent unborn child. The ex-wife stopped arguing, told them they could believe whatever they wanted, warned them to face the consequences, and walked out of the wedding. After the wedding was ruined, the mistress silently vowed to take revenge on the ex-wife. The next day, news of the sterilization report spread rapidly, plunging the ex-husband's entire company into a severe public relations crisis. His mother insisted on proving the child was truly her son's, but his father feared a hospital examination would confirm reporters' suspicions and drive the company's stock even lower again. Moments later, to avoid the media, the ex-husband secretly entered the hospital, had his men contact the director to clear it, and ordered security to watch every waiting reporter. Unknown to the ex-husband, his driver was the biological father of the mistress's baby. She admitted discovery would ruin everything, and desperately begged him to stop the truth emerging. Several hours later, his examination report arrived, showing that his fertility was completely normal, and that there was nothing wrong with him. He then concluded his ex-wife had caused the scandal only because she was jealous of the mistress. He immediately called his ex-wife, and ordered her to announce her resignation as president at the next day's shareholder meeting, then helped the mistress become president behind the scenes. She calmly replied that she was prepared to leave and would complete the work handover before departing. After hearing she was leaving, the employees desperately tried to keep the woman who had personally built the company into an industry leader. They said over 70% of the company's clients trusted only her, while her ex-husband knew nothing beyond socializing and pleasure, and the mistress could not even read financial reports. The employees even declared they would resign and leave with her. She thanked everyone for trusting her, asked them not to resign yet, and promised that she would return very soon, because she knew a rotten tree should not merely have its branches trimmed, but be repaired from the roots or completely uprooted. The ex-husband returned home with the examination report, finally reassuring his parents. Relieved that nothing was wrong, he arrogantly accused his ex-wife of fabricating the entire scandal. His parents immediately condemned the ex-wife as calculating and dangerous, claiming her lies had damaged the share price and threatened the family company. They then accepted the mistress as their only daughter-in-law, ordering her to protect the pregnancy and deliver the grandson they desperately wanted. At that moment, the mistress recalled that the baby's real father had secretly replaced the ex-husband's genuine examination report before he saw it. The original result confirmed he was truly infertile. The driver marveled at the ex-wife's ruthlessness and warned the mistress to be careful, but she arrogantly claimed the ex-wife could never defeat her, and she would steal everything. The ex-husband and his parents planned to force the ex-wife to surrender her shares at the shareholder meeting, preventing her from threatening their control of the company again. Since the ex-wife held company influence, his father ordered the mistress to persuade her to sign the share transfer agreement voluntarily, while keeping himself and his son uninvolved. He feared others would mock them for relying on the ex-wife to build the company, then driving her out once she was no longer useful. The mistress confidently accepted the task and guaranteed success. Meanwhile, after completing his studies abroad, the ex-wife's son returned home, but she told him to rest because she had an important meeting to attend. But her son insisted he was grown and would face every difficulty beside her. The ex-wife silently vowed that anyone who dared covet what belonged to her son would pay a devastating price. Soon the ex-wife was brought to the ancestral hall, where the mistress announced the elders wanted one final family meeting before the shareholder gathering. Inside the ancestral hall, every family member except her ex-husband and his parents was present. The mistress ordered her to transfer all company shares to the ex-husband and herself. The mistress warned that if the ex-wife refused to sign, she would be kept there. The ex-wife refused to submit, and instead calmly took the seat reserved for the family head. She reminded everyone they had once begged her to save their collapsing company, condemned their shameless greed after enjoying her wealth, and declared surrendering every share was impossible. The mistress boasted that the patriarch, the ex-husband, and nearly every elder supported her, while the ex-wife had supposedly been abandoned by everyone. The elders claimed she should be grateful they had allowed a woman to manage the family company, insisting she was tired and should finally step aside. They warned that cooperating and signing was her only choice, or they would use countless methods to force her hand and obtain signature anyway. Meanwhile, her son reached the family meeting entrance. Remembering how he had seen his mother heading there alone, he followed, determined never to let her fight alone. After her son arrived, the guards refused to let him in. Left with no choice, he fought them, because only by knocking them all down could he get inside. Reaching the entrance, he discovered that the ancestral hall doors could not be opened. With no other choice, he smashed the fire equipment, and decided that, unless they opened the doors, he would destroy everything there before forcing his way inside. Just as they were forcing the ex-wife to sign, the alarm suddenly went off. Thinking a fire had started outside, everyone panicked and rushed to escape the ancestral hall. Reaching his mother, the son reminded her that he had promised never to let her fight this family alone, no matter the consequences. Because they had not seen him for 8 years, the ex-husband's family mistook her son for her lover and accused them of adultery. The son revealed he had only been gone 8 years, yet nobody recognized him. The mistress immediately mocked him as the man the ex-wife had kept outside. After her son kicked the mistress, she still called him the ex-wife's lover, so the ex-wife slapped her and stopped the vicious insults. Then the ex-wife took her son and left the ancestral hall. After the ex-wife left, the mistress swore to destroy her. Just then, everyone noticed she was bleeding after being kicked by the ex-wife's son. At the shareholder meeting, the ex-husband explained that the ex-wife was completing the handover with the new acting president, confidently believing the company could thrive without her. But the very next second, the ex-wife arrived at the meeting. The ex-wife arrived at the shareholder meeting where reporters asked whether her ex-husband's family would seize her shares, expel her, and whether the sterilization report and CEO handover were true, but she calmly corrected them, saying she was never forced out. Instead, she voluntarily abandoned her ex-husband's disastrous company and warned his infertility could not stay hidden forever. Next, refusing to spare her ex-husband's family any further, she publicly announced that she would sell all her company shares, totaling 34%. The ex-husband's father immediately brightened, believing that by purchasing every share she sold, the family could reclaim complete ownership of the company. When her ex-husband called the sale revenge, she dismissed him, saying she was only reclaiming what belonged to her and told everyone to watch the company's fate. Within moments, the company's stock began collapsing. Terrified shareholders rushed to sell alongside her as warnings spread that the market was about to crash. After the ex-wife left, more investors immediately dumped their shares, sending the stock down 15%, while reporters demanded that her stunned ex-husband explain the disaster. He and his father insisted it was merely a short-term fluctuation caused by the ex-wife's malicious sell-off, arrogantly claiming the company could handle the crisis. Just then, his mother called, claiming the ex-wife had beaten the mistress until she bled. At the hospital, his father exploded over the mistress's failed plan, revealing the company had lost billions. Partners were canceling contracts, banks demanded repayment, and bankruptcy now loomed. The mistress apologized, claiming she had only wanted to help recover the shares still held by the ex-wife. But his father blamed the mistress for encouraging his son to drive the ex-wife away, leaving the entire family trapped in this disaster. The ex-husband refused defeat, insisting he could still lead the company, and praising the mistress as an economics expert capable of replacing his ex-wife. Then the mistress promised to save the company and claimed the ex-wife had found another man long ago, convincing the family she was deliberately destroying the company. The ex-husband vowed to find the man he believed had an affair with his ex-wife. Later, the ex-husband followed his ex-wife and saw her enter a hotel with another man. He immediately assumed the worst and maliciously reported them to police for suspected prostitution together. Inside, her son gave her a gift, celebrating her escape from the family, and she realized how quickly he had grown into an adult. She asked whether he would blame her for being ruthless if she turned completely against his father and drove his family and company into bankruptcy. Her son refused, saying he studied abroad from age 10. His father chased women, his grandparents ignored him, and only his mother cared for him. He said only his mother truly loved him. She embraced him and promised that after settling everything she would accompany him overseas forever. Suddenly, the ex-husband stormed in, accusing the young man of burning the ancestral hall and injuring his mistress, then demanded to settle every score. After her son fought back and called him shameless, he accused the ex-wife of betraying him, so she furiously slapped him across the face. As he accused the ex-wife of hitting him for another man, her son warned him never to touch his mother again. Only then did he realize the young man was his son. The son coldly rejected him, saying he had only ever had a mother, and would never recognize a father who repeatedly cheated and brought mistresses home. The ex-husband accused her of turning their son against him, but the son revealed she kept the mistress secret to protect him, while her silence only encouraged the family to bully her. The son declared that his mother had single-handedly supported the entire family, then announced he was completely severing every tie with his father's family. The ex-husband immediately accused their son of being unfilial and disrespecting his elders, but she proudly declared he was far better than his irresponsible father. The ex-husband claimed their son could return to the family only after apologizing to the mistress and his grandparents. Just then, police arrived to investigate the report accusing people at the hotel of prostitution. The son produced his identification, proving the ex-wife was his mother, and exposing the prostitution accusation as a malicious false report. He then demanded that his father face legal consequences for falsely accusing and framing both him and his mother. Moments later, a crowd of reporters surrounded the ex-husband and questioned him about making the false police report. Her friend told her this scandal would surely cause her ex-husband's family company's stock to fall again. Next, the ex-wife told her friend she would take her son overseas that evening, expand into foreign markets, then return after gaining a foothold to challenge her ex-husband's family domestically. Later news reported that the ex-husband was detained for the false accusation, worsening the company's crisis and wiping billions more from its value. Later, when poor management left the company in crisis, the ex-husband demanded she return and take control, but she reminded him they were already divorced. When he insisted their divorce was only temporary and promised they would remarry, the ex-wife immediately hung up and blocked him. At the company, employees believed bankruptcy was inevitable without their boss's ex-wife. They mocked him for not recognizing his son and falsely accusing both of prostitution at a hotel. Hearing this, the ex-husband furiously fired every employee who had been discussing and mocking him. 6 months later, he saw news that a mysterious overseas investment group had rapidly risen, founded by an unidentified Chinese woman. Meanwhile, facing bankruptcy, the ex-husband's father desperately begged every friend he knew to extend their loans, regretting how quickly their once powerful company had collapsed. The family admitted everything would be different if the ex-wife remained, but every call failed because she had completely cut them off. They concluded that only the rapidly growing overseas group could save them, and learned its mysterious founder would soon return for an investment banquet. Just then, the ex-husband returned home and found the family elders gathered with worried faces, discussing the company's possible bankruptcy. When the mistress insisted such a large company could never collapse, his father mocked the so-called overseas management expert as a useless showpiece who knew nothing. He ordered his son and the mistress to attend the overseas investment banquet, insisting they secure funding from the investment group. Moments later, the mistress rejected every outfit in her wardrobe, insisting none was suitable for the investment banquet. But her ex-husband impatiently told her nobody at the banquet would care what she wore. The mistress threatened to wear rags and disgrace his entire family unless her ex-husband bought her the finest Knight of Roses dress. Meanwhile, the ex-wife had already purchased the genuine Knight of Roses, leaving her friend amazed that countless wealthy buyers had once failed to obtain it. But she barely cared, telling her friend to list anything she wanted, because she would buy it all. At the banquet, the mistress proudly claimed her husband had secretly bought her the only Knight of Roses, leaving the surrounding guests deeply impressed. Just then, the guest of honor arrived. When the host introduced the ex-wife as the mysterious overseas group's founder and CEO, her ex-husband and mistress were both stunned. Guests immediately noticed both women wore the supposedly unique dress, but one glance made it obvious that the ex-wife had the genuine masterpiece. Humiliated, the mistress accused her husband of deceiving her, while he admitted their financial crisis made purchasing such an expensive dress completely impossible. Still furious, she confronted the ex-wife and accused her of stealing commercial secrets to build the overseas company, even threatening to call police. But the ex-wife remained calm and pretended she did not recognize either of them at all. To prevent the mistress from embarrassing herself further, the ex-husband immediately stopped her and ordered her to leave, but she stubbornly refused. The surrounding guests immediately mocked the mistress for wearing a counterfeit dress. The mistress demanded proof the dress was genuine, but the ex-wife silenced her simply by revealing she was the overseas investment group's CEO. The ex-wife added that when two women wore the same outfit, only the uglier one felt embarrassed, leaving the mistress humiliated before everyone. The mistress mocked her, claiming that, even after returning, the ex-wife could never take her position away. The ex-wife immediately slapped her across the face and warned the mistress never to provoke her again. The mistress immediately tried attacking the ex-wife, but her ex-husband restrained her, making the mistress believe he still missed his former wife. He then ordered his subordinate to take the mistress home immediately. After the investment banquet ended, the ex-husband demanded to know why she had seen every loving post about him, and the mistress yet never responded or called to complain. But she reminded her ex-husband that they had already divorced, and no longer had any relationship whatsoever. He complained that even the mistress dragged him away from nightclubs, then bitterly asked why the ex-wife no longer cared enough to control him. He even asked what had happened to the washboard she once made him kneel on whenever he spoke one extra sentence to another woman. The ex-wife told him she no longer cared because she had already completely let go. The drunken ex-husband admitted he was wrong and had betrayed her repeatedly, then desperately begged the ex-wife to forgive him, return, and remarry him. But she calmly told him their fate had ended, and reminded him that the mistress, not her, was now his wife. When her ex-husband insisted she was the only woman he considered his wife, she said he already had the freedom he wanted, and declared they were finished. After returning home, the drunken ex-husband still refused to accept reality. With the ex-wife gone, he kept calling for her to make him hangover soup. When the housekeeper offered ready-made hangover soup, he pushed it away, and demanded one made by the ex-wife, remembering how she once prepared it after every business dinner. Meanwhile, the mistress realized the family was approaching collapse and quietly decided she needed to start planning an escape for herself. Soon the family learned that the mysterious overseas investment group's founder was actually the ex-wife, leaving everyone completely stunned. They bitterly regretted driving away their true benefactor, keeping the mistress who brought disaster instead, and immediately decided to find a way to win the ex-wife back. His father devised a plan. During the next day's ancestral ceremony, he would announce that the mistress's newborn son must take her surname and never enter the family genealogy. He also ordered his son to tell the ex-wife that her son remained the family's only recognized heir, hoping she would soften and return to save the company. At the ancestral ceremony, the unsuspecting mistress watched her constantly smiling baby and confidently believed her son would soon become the family's official heir. After the ancestral ceremony began, the mistress secretly celebrated her son's coming inheritance, believing she would never have to endure humiliation again. But his father publicly announced that the mistress's child would take her surname and would never be written into the family genealogy. The mistress was stunned and panicked, insisting the announcement had to be fake in public. But the ex-husband then announced that the family's only recognized heir remained the son he had with his ex-wife. This decision completely enraged the mistress, who had just given birth to a son, and she accused the family of breaking their promise. But the ex-husband said he had never promised the child a place in the genealogy, and admitted he still planned to remarry his ex-wife. Moments later, the ex-wife received abusive messages from the mistress, who accused her of returning to steal away her husband. But the ex-wife simply told her assistant to block every number sending those messages. Moments later, her friend arranged medical examinations for her and her son after returning home. But she requested another hospital, knowing her ex-husband's family still planned to use the boy to soften her. She decided to personally destroy her ex-husband's family's final hope, and make them understand just how disastrously wrong their original decision had been. After arriving at the hospital, the ex-wife noticed a baby and stopped beside him to play with him. Seeing this, the mistress immediately accused the ex-wife of taking advantage of her absence to hurt the baby. Just then, the ex-husband arrived, and the mistress immediately accused the ex-wife of hurting her baby. Without investigating, he believed the mistress's accusation. Realizing they intended to keep harassing her, the ex-wife agreed to settle every old and new grievance with the entire family. After returning to her ex-husband's family home, the mistress presented surveillance footage showing the ex-wife lingering beside the baby, and he immediately demanded an explanation. To everyone's surprise, the ex-wife calmly admitted that she had indeed done something while standing beside the child. The ex-husband accused her of never letting go and becoming vicious, while she sarcastically admitted wishing the mistress and her baby would disappear immediately. He insisted the child was innocent, and the elders condemned the ex-wife as a vicious woman trying to destroy their bloodline. But she declared their collapse was entirely self-inflicted, and warned that the final punishment they deserved was about to arrive. Enraged, the patriarch ordered the ex-wife and her son removed from the genealogy, and the entire family supported his decision. Next, the ex-husband personally removed his own son from the family genealogy, officially severing the boy's connection to the clan. But the ex-wife laughed instead, telling them they could finally relax and devote themselves to raising another man's illegitimate child. The mistress immediately accused the ex-wife of lying, but the ex-wife revealed she had secretly collected the baby's hair and tested it against her ex-husband, saying she had waited for this exact moment. The paternity test showed they were not biological father and son. The ex-wife told her ex-husband's family that the child they had solemnly entered into the genealogy was actually born to the mistress and an unknown man. Meanwhile, the son they had personally removed from the genealogy was actually the family's only true bloodline. When the mistress called the paternity report fake, the ex-husband confirmed it was genuine, and realized his own sterilization report was also real. The ex-wife calmly admitted that she had secretly arranged a vasectomy, permanently taking away her ex-husband's ability to have any more children. The family elders accused her of ending their bloodline, while the ex-husband finally realized she had never cared how many women he pursued outside their marriage. She said those questions no longer mattered and admitted her promises had been false because he had deceived her first. After revealing the entire truth to her ex-husband's family, the ex-wife turned around and left. Later, his father also discovered that the mistress had cheated on his son with the family driver, but the mistress desperately insisted that the driver had forced her. The others worried about the family's reputation, since a child who was not biologically theirs had already been entered into the genealogy. His father revealed that the driver, who was the baby's biological father, had supposedly died in a car accident while fleeing abroad. With no other heir left, and their son permanently sterilized, they reluctantly decided to keep raising the baby as the family's future successor. They planned to hide the truth, and raise the child as their own, believing this was better than allowing the bloodline to end. But the ex-husband called everything his punishment, rejected the child, and refused to keep raising another man's son. Then he revealed that he had investigated the driver, who was still alive, and comfortably vacationing in the Maldives. He warned that the man could return years later, reclaim his son, and take the fortune their family had spent decades building. Realizing they had been deceived, the furious father permanently expelled the mistress and ordered his men to find the driver at any cost and ensure he died abroad. The mistress begged for forgiveness, citing their marriage, but the ex-husband refused, ordered her and the child removed that night, and erased both names from the family genealogy. Meanwhile, his father worried that sending the child away would leave the family with no descendants at all. The ex-husband finally admitted their family line had already ended on the day he abandoned his ex-wife. Later, his parents arranged a younger woman for him, insisting he remained their only hope of producing another heir. They pressured him to try despite his infertility, claiming even the slightest possibility was worth preserving the family bloodline. But he refused their arrangement, and declared that the family bloodline had already been completely destroyed. He insisted he would never marry anyone else, even though his ex-wife had divorced him and no longer wanted him. But his parents continued pressuring him to accept another marriage for the sake of the family. Holding his wedding photo with the ex-wife, he warned them he would rather die than ever accept another marriage. With no alternatives left, the elders begged the ex-wife to let her son return, promising him everything the family owned. But she said it was too late, because her adult son had chosen to remain with her and wanted no connection to them. Through the phone, her son personally confirmed his mother's decision, told his grandparents to stop harassing her, and announced he had abandoned his father's surname for hers. Meanwhile, the expelled mistress returned to the house, demanding to see the ex-husband and insisting she was still his wife. Seeing the ex-husband appear, the mistress revealed she had sent the driver's child to an orphanage, then desperately begged him to reconcile with her. The ex-husband condemned the mistress for abandoning her own son to return, exposing that she only loved the status of being a wealthy wife. Next, the ex-husband revealed that the driver had truly died abroad, ordered the mistress never to harass him again, and warned that further entanglement would bring her the same fate. Later, the ex-wife's friend told her that her ex-husband was critically ill in the hospital and had sent one final letter. In the letter, he remembered their poor but hopeful youth, when they struggled together without resentment. After reading his final message, she calmly burned the letter. As the letter burned, everything finally ended. She and her son would begin a new life. The story ends here. Thank you for watching.